Hello everybody, this is Wildman Reviews, and this is the first of a series of videos I'm hoping to do where I review some of the items that I use on a daily basis. Just as a background, I make from scratch traditional rustic walking sticks, and I sell them through Etsy and YouTube, and I've also sold a number to a number of film production companies in the UK and around the world for different productions. I use obviously a lot of hand tools in that time, and I thought it'd be a good idea to do a review of some of the ones that I use on a regular basis to give people a bit of an insight into what I think about them. So the first one that I've got, as you can see, is an Opinel. Now this is a name that most people will be aware of. It's a French company that have been manufacturing knives for a very long time now, and this particular one is a number 8. The Opinels come in various different numbers, and each one of different size. This one is around about the middle sort of size, and it has a Lock to keep the blade open and closed, and this particular one has got a green painted finish. Most of them are in a natural beech, but this is one of the ranges where they have various different colours, and it's a knife that I use on a fairly regular basis, and it's a knife that I really enjoy using. Now the actual blade itself on this one is a stainless steel one. They do carbon steel also, but I always tend to prefer stainless steel, so I just find it a lot easier to maintain them, and I don't find there's a lot of difference in sharpness, to be honest. Marginally less sharp than a carbon, but there's very little in it. This particular one has got a blade length of around about 3¼ inches, I believe, and the steel that they use is a Sandvik stainless steel, which I use. I always look out for because it's very, very reasonably priced, and it's excellent quality, and I've never had any issues with it at all. So the Violet block system itself works it twists effectively at the top, so the block twists, enabling you to open the blade, and then once it's open you can then twist it back into place, and it locks the knife solidly into place. When you then close it, you do very much the same, close it up, and you then twist it again, and that then locks it into place, which stops it from opening in your pocket, which is a very useful system. It's a very old-fashioned sort of design. It's very much a peasant's knife, how it's described in France, and I've had a number of these. This particular one, as you can see, a little bit battered. I've had it around about 5 years, and I've used it constantly in that time. Now the blade itself, as I say, is a stainless steel one, a Sandvik, which is called the Inox for stainless steel, with it being a French knife, and it has a full flat grind. So there's a tiny sort of bevel on the front of that, but the blade itself is perfectly flat. Very thin knife as well, which I like, which basically means that it is absolutely razor sharp and very, very, very easy to sharpen. I find sharpening knives a bit of a chore, if I'm honest with you, but I find this one very, very easy to do. And as far as cutting is concerned, because it has that full flat grind, as I say, it is extremely sharp. I use it mostly for cutting things like cardboard, paper. I tend not to use it for carving wood because of the flat grind. It is a very, very aggressive cut, and I find it's very difficult to control. With wood, it usually cuts too deeply, to be honest with you. So I tend to prefer like a Scandi grind knives for processing the wood, but I do use this, and I carry it sort of regularly with me because it's very, very useful. A lot of people use them in sort of picnic sets and things like that for cutting fruit, and it's obviously, with it being a flat grind, it's very, very useful for that. It has a little lanyard hole there. When it comes from new, it has a little leather lanyard in there. It's fallen off this one. I tend not to really use the lanyards, but price wise as well, it's incredibly cheap. This one I think cost about £16 when I purchased it, and for the time I've used it, as I say, I've use it 2 or 3 times every week for sort of extended periods, and it's always worked excellently. I can't recommend Opinel knives enough, to be honest with you. It's a perfect cheap knife. As I say, it's not legal in the UK to carry because it does effectively lock the blade. As far as minus points on it, I can't really think of any. If you do use it for extended periods and you lock it, sometimes this becomes a little loose and you find the blade sometimes sort of starts becoming a bit wobbly and you occasionally have to just sort of retighten it. But other than that, no issues whatsoever. The handle's extremely comfortable to use for extended periods, and overall it's a knife that I can't recommend highly enough. I've used numbers of them over the years, and I would recommend anybody to have it. It has a certain beauty to it as well, in my opinion. It's a very sort of simple, old-fashioned sort of knife, nothing sort of fancy. All the materials are kind of old, but it has a certain rustic charm which I just love. So it's a knife that I would recommend to anyone, as I say. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this very brief sort of video, and I hope at some point I'll be doing some more, and if you like, obviously subscribe, and we'll see when I send some more out if you enjoy those as well. Alright, thanks ever so much.